option. There you go. Just to put an exclamation point on that. This meeting actually is a new format in compliance with SB 707. So we are virtual as well. And Madam Secretary, can you please call the roll?
Thank you and good morning, everyone. Starting with Director Cochran.
Here.
Devlin is absent. Giudice.
Here.
Hernandez is absent. Hill.
Here.
Maston.
Here.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Present.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Here.
Snyder.
Here.
Fear is absent. Second Vice President Garbarino.
Here.
First Vice President Hardeman.
Here.
And President Rabbit.
Here.
And we just have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. As a reminder, please be sure to turn on your mics when you open up for director's discussion so everyone can hear. Please raise your hand and the secretary or I will call on you accordingly. If we missed your raised hand, please speak up. Following any discussion, we will take the appropriate roll call vote. And if I could have Director Giudice lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please join me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you very much, Director. And we'll move on then to agenda item number 4, which is public comment. And I know we have a few cards up here, and I'll turn it over to Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Before I start, I'm going to make an announcement and just to remind everyone that this meeting is being held in person and on Zoom and via phone. Be advised that closed captioning is available to those of you in the meeting via Zoom. To review the closed captioning, click on the icon at the bottom toolbar of your webinar window. Members of the public wishing to address the board under public comment on matters of business being heard today may do so now under agenda item number 4. All speakers will be given up to 3 minutes to address the board. If you have not already done so, members of the public attending in person who would like to address the board are asked to please fill out a speaker request card and submit it to Thomas in the back of the room. For remote public comment, either click or tap on reactions button at the bottom of your screen and select raise hand, or if dialing in, dial *9. Justine is the facilitator of the virtual meeting room and will call on any speakers. Once it's your turn to speak, you will receive a notification to unmute. If dialing in, dial *6 to unmute. With that, I'm ready to introduce our first speaker, and we have Shane Weinstein. Please join us at the end of the table.
I usually expect to go behind Mr. Rohde. Good morning, directors. I come to you today because I kind of feel like it's Groundhog's Day. All right. Last year, we were in a place where we were negotiating a contract with the district. They were not ready to negotiate the pension that they very much want to move into and fix what greatly needs to be fixed. This time last year, as I stated, the district was looking at going into a PERS pension. They were also looking into going into a Marin County pension. Both of those did not pan out. In doing so, the pension did not get funded, not $1. As everyone knows, as we sit here, our pension is currently went from 47% funded to 42% funded in just 1 year. And the reasoning for that is this plan has not been funded properly through contributions. We have lost half of our members. And so it's dropping faster than it ever has previously. So to add insult to injury, we are now in negotiations from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. This is due to the district's personal obligations. I can tell you as I sit here that the union representatives can be there 12 hours if we need to. That is not the case with the district. So what I am asking is that the mountains that need to be moved, the district is trying to change our entire pay formula and how bus operators get paid. They're also trying to change the way that our pension is administered. We are open to all of that. We're open to talking about all of that, but we need the time to talk about all of that. And currently, that just isn't happening. If we didn't have these mountains to move, maybe that would be okay timeline for us to be in meetings, but currently that just does not suffice. My last point is me being the chief negotiator on the union side. If I needed to leave at 2:00 in the afternoon, I have two very capable individuals to pick up that ball and keep on negotiating in my place. I don't believe that that's the case with the district. So as we move forward here, my members deserve a raise on time, not to be stalled out because of the district's intent to go into another pension system. So I ask that we have longer meetings, and I ask that my members get the ability to get a raise on time that they so deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Dave Rohde. Dave, can you join us at the end of the table?
Morning. My name is Dave Rohde. I'm the San Francisco Policy Co-Chair for the Climate Reality Project. After an encouraging meeting recently with bridge managers, I didn't think I'd be back this month until I looked at this month's agenda and the general manager's report. Mr. Mulligan notes that without legislative intervention, CARB's recent elimination of public funds from its cap and investment program would wipe out two key funding sources for the bridge district. I have good news on that front. We just discovered that a bill that started out in the California legislature earlier this year as a housing bill has been gutted and rewritten as a transit bill. Sponsored by Senator John Laird, SB 1216 blocks CARB from taking the $600 million from state transit programs. SB 1216, titled the Budget Act of 2026, is currently in committee. Hopefully, it will move on to a floor vote in the Senate when they resume work in August. Senator Wiener has already indicated that he hopes to push this bill through. Once it passes the Senate, it will then, of course, need to be passed by the Assembly, and there's good news on that front as well. Damon Connolly, your District 12 North Bay Assembly member, has drafted a letter to Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas urging his support for the cap and investment transit money. Connolly is in the process of getting other Assembly members to sign on to his letter of support as Senate Bill 1216 makes its way to the Assembly. We've already reached out to Assembly members Stephanie and Haney and are fairly confident of their support. I urge those of you who represent San Francisco to also reach out to Senator Wiener to thank him for his support of SB 1216 and to urge Assembly members Stephanie and Haney to do the same. Likewise, I urge you all to reach out to your respective state legislators to let them know how important this bill is to you. You can help energize the momentum that is already building to pass SB 1216. Numerous climate and transit groups are already getting behind the passage of this bill. On behalf of the Climate Reality Project, I'll be networking with 350 SF, 350 Bay Area Action, the San Francisco Climate Emergency Coalition, the Climate Center, and Sunflower Alliance. You may recall me mentioning Carter Lavin, founder of the 9-County Bay Area Transit Coalition. He was part of last month's meeting with Bridge District managers. His organization, along with Seamless Bay Area and other California transit groups, are organizing a big rally in Sacramento on August 10th to push California legislators to pass SB 1216 and rectify CARB's egregious defunding of a key transit program. Amaret Ko-Wong, the most efficient board secretary in California or anywhere, has Connolly's letter available for your review. Please note this letter doesn't specifically reference SB 1216, but it is in preparation for that bill reaching the Assembly. SB 1216 won't reform CARB, but restoring the transit money they yanked is a step in the right direction. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. I'll pay you later. No. I'm going to turn it over to Justine to double check to see if we have any speakers on the public line. I believe some hands will be going up. So Justine, why don't you introduce anybody that's on the public line?
Good morning. I do have one hand that's raised, and as soon as this person speaks, I'll then remind everybody how to raise hands. I'll let them speak. Thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Great. It's David Pilpel from San Francisco. It's been a while. several points. The general manager's report, which I always appreciate, by the according to or paraphrasing Dave Rohde just now, the most efficient executive administrator to a general manager in the state, recounts the transit service changes effective April 2026, a net reduction of 9.4% according to the staff report from months ago, as I recall. The report today does not relate the revenue and ridership impact, since when the Transportation Committee next meets, I suggest a route level report on revenue and ridership before and after. If the general manager has some information on that today, that would be great too. Second, the July 4th fireworks event included a brief, rare bridge closure. Among the various cautions and details, I found no public information about Golden Gate Transit service impacts on the Route 101 and the 120. I assume that some trips were affected. I don't know if any trips from downtown San Francisco were rerouted via the East Bay, or if trips were just held for an hour or two while the bridge was closed. And finally, I hope the board adjourns its meeting today in memory of Clint Riley, the husband of former district president Janet Riley. Thanks very much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. I would like to remind everybody, if you're on the public line and you would like to speak this morning and you have come in via computer, please tap the reactions or react button at the bottom of the screen and select raise hand. And if dialing in, please dial *9 so that your hand raises and I know that you'd like to speak this morning. I am not seeing anybody else at this time.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you to David, Dave, and Shane for their comments. That concludes public comment on items on today's agenda. We're move forward then to item number 5, which is to approve the consent calendar. The consent calendar today has 8 items, 4 minutes from previous meetings, and ratification of previous actions by the auditor controller. Are there any questions for my colleagues regarding the consent calendar today? Seeing none, is there, can I get a motion to approve the consent?
Thank
You have
you.
a motion and a second. And can we do a voice votes today, or do you want to do roll call?
Roll
We have a
call
roll call?
Yes.
A roll call, please.
And just
All
for
right.
anybody who joins us late, even though we concluded public comment, because this is still a new format, we're going to take public comment. If we see any raised hands, I'll let you know.
Great.
As we move through the meeting. Okay. Voting on item 8, voting on item 5 with the first and second, starting with Director Cochran.
Yes.
Devlin is absent. Giudice.
Yes.
Hernandez is absent. Hill.
Yes.
Maston.
Yes.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Yes.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Yes.
Snyder.
Aye.
Thier is absent. Second Vice President Garbarino. Aye. First Vice President Hardeman.
Aye.
And President Rabbit.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes.
Great. Thank you very much. Moving on then to item 6A, which is the report of the general manager. Dennis, please proceed.
Thank you, President Rabbit, members of the board, members of the public. My written report is before you. I'll highlight a couple things. Every month, they generally start with ridership numbers. We did not have them by the time of printing of this. But for the fiscal year that ended on June 30th, we saw slow, continued, steady growth in travel in the Golden Gate corridor. Just to remind everyone, if you're traveling from San Francisco to Marin and Sonoma, you are our customer unless you're swimming across. And so we can tell you how many people go and when they go. Overall travel is still well below pre-pandemic levels, but when we look at last fiscal year that just ended on June 30th, we saw slow, steady growth. Bridge traffic was up 1.5% compared to the prior fiscal year. Bus ridership was up 21% compared to the prior fiscal year, and a lot of that was San Francisco ridership within San Francisco. And ferry ridership was up about 10% compared to the prior year. Overall, bridge traffic is still about 13% below pre-pandemic levels, since bridge tolls are how we pay our bills for the bridge, for our buses and our ferries. It does indicate that we still continue to have fiscal headwinds that we're facing, but we are seeing a return to travel in the corridor. With respect to ferry, that 10% growth compared to the prior fiscal year represents about 84% of our customers are back. Recreational travel in the corridor is doing well. And I'll talk a little bit about mascots after I get through a couple other items in my staff report. Next, I'll talk about the sidewalks. Sidewalks, we had 269,000 people use our sidewalks in the month of June. That's bicycles and pedestrians. So it's important to note all modes of travel when we report to the public, and our sidewalks are very, very well utilized and very popular. Moving on, May 29th was a rather auspicious day for transportation agencies in California and across our country. On May 29th, the Office of Management and Budget under the White House published a proposed rule in the Federal Register that would change all regulations dealing with federal grants. The rules are rather broad sweeping. The comment period closed July 13th. It appears that approximately 500,000 individuals and organizations provided comments on these changes. However, it does appear that OMB's desired deadline for the new rule to take effect is October 1st. As currently crafted, it would have the effect of law. It would supersede each agency, such as the Federal Transit Administration or Federal Highway Administration's individual rules, and would usurp all those. Among other things, the rule would significantly expand the ability of the federal government to rescind or terminate previously awarded discretionary grants. So we will keep you appraised of that. For those that work in cities and counties, you're aware of this because it affects all grants. And it is noteworthy to know that if it does come to pass, it would be a rather significant change. We are the recipients of a tremendous amount of federal discretionary grants here at the Bridge District. 2 out of every 3 years, we were successful in the ferry boat discretionary program, getting $5 or $6 million. We have a current $400 million discretionary bridge grant that we're using to strengthen the bridge. So this is a topic of great concern. Also on May 29th, the California Air Resources Board adopted amendments to the Cap and Invest program, which one of the prior speakers, Mr. Dave Rohde, spoke about. The change they adopted was in essence a bureaucratic veto of a law the state passed less than a year earlier, where they renamed the program Cap and Invest, and they made some structural changes. As part of those structural changes, they prioritized funds, the legislature did. CARB's action would reduce the amount of funding, so there would be nothing available for the transit funding, which is in Tier 3. We received money as part of the LC-TOP, the Low Carbon Transportation Operations Program, and we compete for the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program, or TIRCIP funds. So it is a concern. There is a lot of conversations going on as we speak. The public speaker, Mr. Rohde, talked about one effort. That effort would try to undo the CARB action. That effort would require ultimately to be successful a governor's signature on the bill. I highlight that just to point that out because that may be a challenge to that strategy. There are other strategies also being talked about as we speak. The Senate Transportation Committee Chair Cortese is working to see if it's possible to restore the Senate Bill 125 and Tier 3 transit funding. A lot of leaders in Sacramento who the speaker named, such as Senator Wiener and others, Assemblymember Connolly, are actively engaged in this. The California Transit Association is leading a group of stakeholders beyond just transit. Importantly, though, they're working with the Budget Committee staff and the legislative analysts just to understand how much general fund money might be available for other priorities such as this. Different people have bantered about different numbers. The amount of money that might be available for a one-time continuation of it is something that a lot of people are pursuing at this time as we speak. So there's multiple paths being looked at. There'll be a lot of activity that will happen over the next 60 days, and we'll continue to keep you appraised of it. But however it's restored, it would be helpful for transportation and transit in particular in California and this Bridge District if some mechanism was found for that. Moving on to mascots, since that came up by one of the speakers. Mascots was an effort to look at travel in Marin and Sonoma to San Francisco as if it was all operated by one entity, setting aside organizational ego and saying if one company ran all the local buses, regional buses, the train, and the ferries, what would it look like? So when we come back and report the status of mascots, we'll report it in that fashion. We'll look at the cumulative ridership because we, suspended our 101 service from Marin to Sonoma. We encouraged people to take SMART. That was a conscious decision to see if we could then redirect those resources where the bulk of the travel is between Marin and Sonoma to San Francisco. 70% of all trips from Marin and Sonoma to San Francisco are from San Rafael South. So it makes sense for us to focus our toll dollars in that arena. Anecdotally, though, we are seeing growth in reverse commute trips on our Route 101 from San Francisco to San Rafael. It's too early to cast any judgment, but in a couple months, we will come back with a presentation on the collective impacts of mascots to North Bay travel. Then moving on to the part of my presentation that I always look forward to the most, it's employee recognition. Today, I would like to ask Kelly Hopper to escort Melanie Sanborn to the front of the room. Melanie has retired from the district after over 24 years of service. You may recognize her. She is a 3-time Employee of the Month winner, something to shoot for, Lucas. And she's been an integral part of our marketing department, working with her colleagues throughout the district to inform the public about the services we provide. She's been instrumental in many endeavors, including completely redoing our transit guide many years ago. She represents us with regional entities on such activities as regional wayfinding and signage, and she's a gem to work with. She has been a taskmaster because you have to be to get the transit guide done on time. And she has a very nice way of cajoling everyone to achieve those outcomes. But we will deeply miss her here at the Bridge District. She is a joy to work with. I can say that personally, as someone who's had the pleasure of working with her. And I'd point out that her mom is in the audience with us today. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that some of her former colleagues are here who are retired also. One from as far away as Charlotte, North Carolina. And next to Pete is someone that splits her time between Nevada and the Palm Desert. So anyway, Melanie, thank you for all that you've done. We'll miss you deeply. We wish you all the best in retirement, and congratulations. No, Mary Curry, she splits her time between Nevada and the desert.
So I did write a few things, but one of the things that I have really enjoyed about working here at the district is telling people that I work for the Golden Gate Bridge District. But what I'm not going to miss is when I tell people that I work in the marketing department. And I'm first responded with a look of skepticism. And then typically the questions start with the marketing department. Why does one of the most famous landmarks in the world need a marketing department? And do you really need to convince customers or tourists to come to the bridge? So I will still say that I worked for the Bridge District. I might leave the marketing part out of my remarks. And I have been looking back on my career here, as one does when they retire. And instead of the projects and the accomplishments work-wise that keep coming to mind, it's been the connections that I have formed and the friendships that I've made here that really are the things that I'm most proud of, and I feel have the most value for me in my life. I am really thankful to the district for giving me a career that was usually very interesting, often challenging, and never really boring. And I do appreciate that. I also do appreciate that it gave me the stability to raise a happy family. And for that, I am extremely grateful. So thank you all. And I've appreciated it. Yes.
Next, I'll ask Kelly Hopper to escort Maria Rodriguez to the front of the room. Maria is celebrating 30 years of service with the Bridge District. In 1996, she joined us as a floating office clerk that rotated between many departments. And then she's been promoted over the years after becoming a full-time employee to a variety of different positions in the Human Resources Department. And staff speaks incredibly highly of her. We're very grateful to have her as part of our team. And thank you for 30 years of service.
Well, we all heard the story. My dog ate my homework. Literally, I have two little doggies and they really like to play with paper, toilet paper especially. So I had a little speech that I wrote out, because it was like, oh, I'll just do something quick. And of course, the wind blew the floor. I didn't even notice that it had knocked over my piece of speech on the floor. And so I'm cleaning. I'm like, what is this? It's my little speech. So literally, the dogs ate my speech. So, and of course, I'm so nervous I can't even remember what it was, and it wasn't that long. So, anyways, I'm just so thankful for the time that I've had here at the district, and I really appreciate this recognition. It means a lot to me. So, thank you all very much.
So now we come to the Employee of the Month. And the district has a committee that selects one of their own. There's no managers on this committee who they feel did something extraordinary or best represents who we are. Well, we are in the customer service business here at the Bridge District, and the Employee of the Month exemplifies that. So I would like to ask Chris Bearden and Colette Martinez to escort our Employee of the Month to the front of the room. Our Employee of the Month is Terminal Agent Lucas Stewart Chilcote. Lucas joined us 7 years ago as a casual. He went through a training program, and he now serves as a terminal agent. He has received numerous accolades and recognitions from employees. They submit him a variety of different ways. He is very much into providing first-class customer service. Previously, we've talked about how we've had some challenges in the region with Clipper. Part of that, as it affects various ticket vending machines, limited use tickets. He is extraordinary in how he helps customers pay their fare, which is really important to us since we need to pay our bills. But people just really, truly enjoy interacting with him as they ride our ferries. He does an exemplary job at the San Francisco Ferry Terminal, keeping it looking spick and span, nice and clean. Everything looks perfect. And I just personally can't thank him enough. And more importantly, his colleagues recognize all the great work that he does. And so with that, congratulations.
What a great smile.
Yeah. So I can hold that for you. So you can grab.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you, board, for improving and restoring the San Francisco Ferry Terminal with the eastern berth. We really appreciate that investment for our terminal. And then I want to recognize I have a couple co-workers. I have Operations Supervisor Keisha Scarfone. I have Adrian Cuevas, Casual Supervisor and Terminal Agent. And then I have James Ward, Terminal Agent and Shop Steward for the Terminal Agents for Inland Boatmen's Union. And then I have Colette Martinez, my manager, and Chris Bearden, my director. So I want to say thank you to all 5 of them for being here and just supporting me like a family. I appreciate that. So now into my my little speech. I am so grateful for being an employee of the Golden Gate Bridge, Highway, and Transportation District. It is an amazing opportunity. I started when I was 20 years old, now 27, and it's my retirement plan. I'm going to be here for years and years and years, and I enjoy being at work. When I'm on my Sunday, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm looking forward to the upcoming week. Oh, I wonder what projects I can do to clean the terminal. Oh, maybe I'll power wash that, or maybe I got to get to cleaning those windows in the back corner. And of course, there's that routine of keeping up our beautiful San Francisco terminal, and also the Larkspur terminal when I was terminal agent there. But I do need to address a little elephant in the room, that of the ferry division, the terminal agents are the lowest paid. But I need to recognize that I'm not in it for the money. If I was in it for the money, I would essentially jump terminal and join ship. I would become a deckhand. But in 2019, I made the decision that I'm a terminal agent. I'm not a deckhand, even though they're both in the same union. Even though most job opportunities are for the deckhand, not the terminal agent. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the enjoyment. I'm in it for the fun. I'm in it for the cleaning. I'm in it for the passengers. I'm in it for the enjoyment. And every day is an enjoyable day with the district. And every day I clock in, I say hi to my coworkers, I pick up a broom, I say, tag your clipper here. I say, okay, well, supervisor, I'm going to clean this window. And they say, okay, go at it. We know that you're going to stay busy, and we know that you enjoy what you do. So I just want to say thank you for giving me this job and giving me this job description, because WIDA, the other ferry company, Blue and Gold, they no longer have their terminal agents, but Golden Gate Bridge District has kept my job description, and I am forever grateful, and it feels meant to be. So thank you so much.
It's a wonderful organization. Mr. President, that concludes my report. I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you very much, Dennis. Appreciate that. And looking to my colleagues, Director Maston.
Yeah, Dennis, I have 3 questions. The first is on page 3, mascots. And I was wondering, do we have a number for how many passengers transition in Novato between our system and Sonoma County?
I reported the prior month's GM report. I reported the prior month of it. Sonoma County Transit operated a service after we ceased, but we provided data November, December, January, February in the report. Sonoma County has chosen at this juncture not to continue those late night trips, but there's just a handful of people on those trips, and it did not meet their performance metrics for the limited resources that they have.
That's unfortunate. Okay, thank you. And then on page 9, the interim electrical repair stuff. I'm a little unclear. Has it been completed?
No, it has not. So we had an outage that occurred February, a Saturday of Super Bowl weekend, February of 2024, where we had a original transformer on the bridge below. And We did some emergency repair work with a company called PB Electric, and then we developed a two-phase approach to do more long-term fixes. The lead time on procuring electrical components is exceedingly long. So we ordered parts for what we call the short-term fix, but parts that would perhaps not last 89 years, but maybe last 10 years, while we also then ordered the permanent parts that would last another generation. That equipment arrived, and then we went through a streamlined procurement process, and we selected PB Electric to do the installation of that temporary work. Unfortunately, they had a different team than that did the original temporary repairs for us, and we've agreed mutually to part ways, and so PB Electric will not be performing that work. We are getting all the equipment that we had ordered and shared with them, and also some equipment they ordered, and we'll have our in-house electricians do some of that work, and then we'll do a small contract for a little bit of the work that we can't complete in a couple of months. And so you'll see updates on that in the engineer's report going forward.
Okay. And then the last one is a comment and a question. So looking back at prior months and years of vehicle and bicycle incidents on the bridge, it seems like the numbers are creeping up a little bit, not by much. And I just wonder, do we know why, or is it just more people? And
they're lower than they were through some other prior historic junctures, significantly lower. So we've been publishing bicycle accident data for about a decade now, just to be transparent with our users. At one time, I used to say that we had more people leaving the bridge in an ambulance over the course of a year from the sidewalks and from the roadway. So we took some steps to enhance safety on the sidewalks. We worked with all the bike advocacy groups, not just the bicycle coalitions, but the racing clubs, and we did a lot of outreach. And a couple of years ago, we did a couple of things. One is we adopted an amendment to the ordinance you did that allowed a Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 e-bikes on our sidewalks. But coupled with that, we put in an enforceable speed limit. So, more serious injuries are typically associated with speed, regardless of the mode of travel. And so we've seen a reduction, but it does bounce around a little bit. A lot of the accidents actually are off the bridge on the approaches. Lower Consulman Road is a hill where if you rode along the flat waterfront of San Francisco, walked a bike up that one hill to get to the bridge, went across the bridge, and then all of a sudden started going downhill. And if you hadn't ridden a bike in a while, you might forget, left or right brake first. And so Lower Consulman Road is an area where some inexperienced bicyclists have accidents, as well as Alexander Avenue. But we do track it. We disclose the data. We work carefully with legal counsel. Some of that's in our permitted area, some is not, but we report all of it just to keep the public informed. But we had a bigger issue years ago, and I think the speed limit helped. When the sidewalks get super crowded, it's hard to go fast enough to hurt yourself, just to be candid. But the worst accidents we've ever had on the bridge on a bicycle were a bike-on-bike accident on the west sidewalk on the widest part of the bridge, where the sidewalk is 32 feet wide. So, the bridge sidewalks are a fixed condition that has existed now for many decades in the current configuration, and it's just, where we're at.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Any other questions for the general manager? Seeing none, we'll move on then to item 6B, the attorney's report, and looking to our district attorney, Mr. Manolius.
Thank you, President Rabbit. My written report's before you. I'm happy to take any questions. And there's no closed session today.
Thank you for that. Are there any questions for the district attorney? District attorney. Be careful how you say that, I guess. Yeah. Moving on to item 6C, which is the district engineer's report. Mr. Eberly.
Yes, good morning, President and members of the board. The report is in your packet for the Building Operating Committee from yesterday. I just wanted to report that the seismic contract is progressing. As I noted, the mobilization is almost complete, both for the prime and their subs. They also began work on the sidewalk yesterday, so you'll see some work occurring on the sidewalk. So that project is moving along. And I also wanted to report that the UBIT, the underbridge inspection truck, is continuing to work. It'll be completing this month. So next week is the last week that we'll be out there. It's been very successful, and we've completed everything we wanted to complete with that. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you very much. Are there any questions for the district engineer? Seeing none, thank you for all the work, John. Appreciate that. There are no other reports. We'll move on then to the report of the Building and Operating Committee from yesterday, and that's item 8A on the agenda. And Chair Garbarino, please begin your committee's report to the board.
Thank you, President. 1 second.
Oh.
I believe you do, please.
Chair Garbarino, I have a potential conflict of interest and I'm A1, so I will be stepping out.
Good work.
The Building and Operating Committee is recommending approval of Board Agenda Item Number 8A1, which was continued from the June 26th, 2026 meeting of the Board of Directors. This item is to authorize execution of the third addendum to the 12th Amendment to Professional Services Agreement Number 2011B2, Design Services for the Golden Gate Bridge Fiscal Suicide Deterrent System with HNTB Corporation in an amount not to exceed $500,012 relative to project number 1526, Golden Gate Bridge Physical Suicide Deterrent System construction, with the understanding that sufficient funds for the addendum are included in the project budget as detailed in the staff report, and I so move.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and we have a second. And are there any questions related to this item? Seeing no questions, can we please have a roll call vote?
Thank you. Voting on item 8A1 with the first and second, starting with Director Cochran.
Aye.
Devlin is absent. Giudice.
Yes.
Hernandez is absent. Hill.
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Aye.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Fear is absent. Second Vice President Garbarino.
Aye.
First Vice President Hardeman.
Aye.
And President Rabbit.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes with all those present.
Pause for a second to allow our colleague to re-enter, but we'll move on. Chair Garbarino, please continue when we have Director Thier in the room.
Okay. Thank you. Next item is number 8A2 to authorize approval of contract change order number 9 to contract number 2025B052, Golden Gate Suspension Bridge Seismic Retrofit, Contract 1, North and South Towers and North and South Side Spans with Halmar International LLC in the amount of $343,616 for floor beam cleaning and painting at the north side span, with the understanding that sufficient funds are available in the contract's construction contingency to fund this change order, as detailed in the staff report, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and any questions related to this particular item? Seeing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Thank you. Voting on item 8A2 with the first and second, starting with Director Cochran.
Aye.
Devlin is absent. Giudice.
Yes.
Hernandez is absent. Hill.
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Yes.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Yes.
Snyder.
Aye.
Fear.
Aye.
Second Vice President Garbarino.
Aye.
First Vice President Hardeman.
Aye.
And President Rabbit.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes with all present.
Wonderful. Chair Garbarino, please continue.
The next item for recommendation is the approval of item number 8A3, which is to authorize execution of professional services agreement number 2026F007, Larkspur Ferry Terminal Berth and Channel Maintenance Dredging Design and Permit Support Services with Moffett and Nickel of Walnut Creek in an amount not to exceed $704,611 to perform professional dredging design, environmental clearance, and construction permitting support services for maintenance dredging at the Larkspur Ferry Terminal and authorize a contingency in the amount of $70,461 for the agreement, with the understanding that sufficient funds to finance these actions are included in the budget for project number 2642 Larkspur Ferry Terminal Berth and channel dredging design project as detailed in the staff report, and I so move.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. And before we take the vote, are there any questions on this particular item? Seeing no hands raised, can we please have a roll call?
Thank you. Voting on item 8A3 with a first and second, starting with Dr. Cochran.
Aye.
Devlin is absent. Giudice.
Yes.
Hernandez is absent. Hill.
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Aye.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Fear.
Aye.
Second Vice President Garbarino.
Aye.
First Vice President Hardeman.
Aye.
And President Rabbit.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes with all present.
And Chair Garbarino, can you please continue?
Sure. The last item for recommendation is the approval of item number 8A4 to authorize a contract contingency for contract number 2026 F031, Liwa Vessel 1 and 2 engines, gearboxes, and drivelines with Northern Lights in the amount of $2,580,000 as detailed in the staff report, and I so move. Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions related to this item? Seeing no hands raised, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Thank you. Voting on item 8A4 with a first and second, Director Cochran.
Aye.
Devlin is absent. Giudice.
Yes.
Hernandez is absent. Hill.
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Aye.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Fear.
Aye.
Second Vice President Garbarino.
Aye.
First Vice President Hardeman.
Aye.
And President Rabbit.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes with all present.
Great. Thank you, Chair Garbarino. Do you have anything further to report?
Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Moving on then to item 8B on the agenda, which is the report from yesterday's Finance Auditing Committee. Chair Giudice, please begin your committee's report to the board.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Auditing Committee recommends approval of item 8B1, which is to authorize the general manager to file an application with the Metropolitan Transportation Commission for fiscal year 2026-2027 Transportation Development Act State Transit Assistance Regional Measure 2 and Regional Measure 3 to support bus, ferry, and paratransit services in the amount of $27,573,265, with the understanding that approval of this action will also authorize the general manager to file revisions to this application if projected funding amounts change during the fiscal year 2026-2027 as detailed in the staff report, and I so move.
Second.
And again, we have a motion and a second, and I'll look to my colleagues if there's any questions, comments, or concerns on this particular item. Seeing no hands raised, can we have a roll call, please?
Thank you. Voting on item 8B1 with a first and second, starting with Director Cochran.
Aye.
Devlin is absent. Giudice.
Yes.
Hernandez is absent. Hill.
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Aye.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Fear.
Aye.
Second Vice President Garbarino.
Aye.
First Vice President Hardeman.
Aye.
And President Rabbit.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes with all present.
Great. Thank you very much. Chair Giudice, do you have anything further to report?
Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you. Then continuing on to item 8C on the agenda, which is the report from yesterday's Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee. Vice Chair Hardeman, please begin your committee's report to the board.
Thank you, President Rabbit. The Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee recommends approval of item 8C1 to approve the award of contract number 2026-D-060 NeoGov HR Suite to GovernmentJobs.com Incorporated, doing business as NeoGov, in the total amount of $355,062 for a 3-year term for the continued provisions of an integrated cloud-based human capital management system supporting recruitment, selection, onboarding, training and development, and employee performance management as detailed in the staff report, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And again, I'll look to my colleagues. Any questions, comments, concerns on this particular item? Seeing no hands raised, we'll move on then to a roll call vote.
Thank you. Voting on item 8C1 with the first and second, starting with Director Cochran.
Aye.
Devlin is absent. Giudice.
Yes.
Hernandez is absent. Hill.
Yes.
Maston.
Aye.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr.
Yes.
Parrish is absent. Rodoni.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Second Vice President Garbarino.
Yes.
First Vice President Hardeman.
Aye.
And President Rabbit.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes with all present.
Great. Vice Chair Hardeman, do you have anything further to report?
Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you very much. Moving on, we have nothing under items 9, 10, and 11. So we'll continue on to item number 12, which is new business, which is report on meetings and conferences attended by directors. And I can let you know on behalf of the district and with First Vice President Hardiman and our district secretary, Amrit Ko Wong, I attended the American Public Transportation Association 2026 Transit Board Members and Transit Board Administrators Seminar on July 17th through July 20th in Detroit, Michigan. The host agency in Detroit was SMART, which I initially assumed was the Southern Michigan Area Rapid Transit, but no, it's Suburban Mobility Authority for Regional Transportation. Go figure. We had
It's a Midwest thing.
It's a Midwest thing, yeah. We had a full 2-day sessions on Saturday and Sunday, which touched on the following topics. They did give a view from Washington where the industry sits regarding federal appropriations. APTA does have a presence in DC, which I always consider to be a great thing. We have more people looking out on for our behalf. They continue to highlight the good investment in public transit to members of Congress. We received an in-depth look at several agencies, including SMART and DART from Dallas. They touched on cybersecurity strategies, which I thought was really interesting in terms of the return on the investment to offset the impacts, looking at it from a business perspective. We had 2 separate sessions on agencies that provided transit services to the recent World Cup and major events, including VTA from San Jose, Santa Clara, DART, and Kansas City. Interestingly, VTA carried about 30,000 passengers to the Super Bowl and 228,000 for the 5 FIFA games. And the total cost to the agency was nearly $18 million. They recouped about half of that through FEMA and MTC. I think MTC was a $5 million one-time allotment. So they're technically still out of pocket about $9 million. Kansas City seemed to come out much better, which was interesting, and how they went about it, and something to be learned there, no doubt. We did have 2 breakout group sessions, which touched on topics such as the fiscal cliff, zero-emission vehicles, transit-oriented design, paratransit, CEO recruitment and onboarding, board effectiveness, governance, best practices, transparency, public trust, all that stuff. Interesting presentation from MARTA from Atlanta on improving the perception of safety on their system, like BART has here in the Bay Area. I thought the one thing that I took away from that was really interesting is that they actually have MARTA pays for 10 shelter beds each and every night, and they have social workers on their system doing a little tap on the soldier shoulder for, as they called them, the non-destination riders. So an interesting approach. We had the usual ethics, conflict of interest tutorials and discussions about the current state of the disadvantaged business enterprise under the current administration. All in all, I think a pretty good meeting. You always look for those nuggets to take away. You also, as I mentioned yesterday, you look for, I think, you also realize that we're doing a lot of things really well here, and we have great staff. So it's a bit of an affirmation as well. And so with that,
I just have kind of a question.
Sure.
Is this okay?
Yeah, no, please.
Thank you. Last year in Kansas City, they were just, correct me if I'm wrong, Bert and Amaret, they were just going through the conundrum of moving from all free service to reinstating fares. So to hear, they must have done that successfully, because now they did the FIFA thing okay.
Apparently they charged enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. If people were paying that much for the tickets to the game, they could probably pay for the transit.
You do all free and then you have to go back.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I'll turn it over to First Vice President Hardiman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Again, we were at APTA in Detroit. I'll start off by saying my preconceived perception of Detroit has changed. It's actually a wonderful city. I wouldn't mind. I would like to go back there. The Art Deco buildings were beautiful, and they definitely came a long way since what they were a few years ago. The trips, since Mr. President had most of the things we went through, I'll hit on some other topics. The trip started off with a slight delay. We boarded the plane, we unboarded, and then immediately reboarded from a maintenance issue that was unknown. So we missed the welcome reception. But at that conference, they had speakers from APTA, SMART, VTA, AC Transit, Kansas City, Dallas, Jacksonville. It's kind of interesting to hearing how they all do things. One of the common themes there is funding. Everyone has a funding issue, and they did recommend, and I think we do a good job at getting grants and money like that, but that's everybody's out there for a hustle. So, transit is, does have some shortcomings, especially with the IIJA, the Infrastructure Investment Act. The Congress needs to pass that before it expires. And the transportation, housing, and urban development, there's significant cuts to that in the billions of dollars. So that's going to affect all the transit agencies. One thing about the cybersecurity, they did recommend a vulnerability assessment. I think we've heard Dennis talk about that in the past, but it was like President Rabbit said, was quite interesting. And it was interesting to hear about all the funds that VTA are out of from the World Cup and Super Bowl, but somehow Dallas and Kansas City seem to get some federal grants. Kind of something that I caught. One of the breakout groups I took part of was Zero Emissions. And I heard from Long Beach, and they did some electric water taxis that were interesting, and some electric buses. Common theme is everyone that has gone that way, there's no cost savings. The money to build the infrastructure, the batteries, the buses, you don't really save any money. But I did hear kind of David Rohde in the back of my head. I don't know if he's still here, but I was really happy to hear everybody there from like Jacksonville, Dallas, all the other places that I would expect not to have environment on their mind. They all see the urgent need to address the environmental changes in transit. And, obviously we're not the biggest polluters, but that's on their radar. So I was happy to hear that. And so that was a good one. And then I definitely learned some stuff from MARTA Atlanta. I know it doesn't really affect us, the changes they made, but when next time I talk to Muni or BART, I'll definitely bring it up to them because they have a lot of improvement to do. And, it's a perception of safety. And I know it doesn't affect us as much, but the perception of their ridership does reflect on ours, and it does reflect transit in general in the Bay Area. So cleaning up that perception will benefit, I think, everybody in whole. And then there was a good refresher course on ethics. And there was a great dinner that they had in the art museum there with the Diego Rivera murals on both sides, 360. It was beautiful, of the assembly line for Ford, and it was a lot of symbolism in there. Definitely was probably one of the coolest places to eat a dinner in. And they had a nice dinner cruise for us on Saturday night. That was Sunday night, which was nice. Detroit is a beautiful city, so I can't knock it anymore. So, that's all. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank our secretary, Amaret. She did a great job at preparing everything. Everything was kind of already done. Didn't have to do anything. Gave me my flight, and I just booked my flight. Everything else, the room. And then she came back. We got on the left there at 4:30. She came back to work that morning. She definitely put in the hours. I commend her. We got, like everyone said, we got the best secretary in the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That dinner cruise was on Lake St. Clair, clearly a wonderful lake, but certainly not a great lake. Little slow. No, thank you very much. It was pretty interesting. I did find out that when Henry Ford built the automobile plants, obviously he built them in the city because they were close to public transportation, because that's where his workers had to get to the plants. But of course, the second generation of auto plants was built in the suburbs because he purposely wanted them to drive cars to the suburbs. So it was a little interesting conundrum. And anyway, thank you.
Do we get to hear from Amaret?
Certainly, always.
I'd say that ours was more in the weeds. Our group, when we meet, the transit board administrators meet, we are definitely in the weeds. We talk about governance, we talk about automation, we talk about electronics, and trying to modernize the boardroom and things like that. So There's a lot of different rules in different states, number one. So transparency laws we have are definitely not the same in Ohio or in Kansas, things like that. Very, very different. So you'll see kind of eyebrows raised when people talk about, oh, well, we do this because it's very transparent. Then, well, we don't do that. We barely post our packets. They're like, we get an agenda, but we don't have to show them this. Okay, you can still do that. So definitely very eye-opening experience in how people apply the law. But everyone uses the Brown Act. Everyone runs their meetings the same way. It's just the manner of the transparency that's so different. Big agencies, small agencies, I'd consider us small just looking around because I've seen now they did presentations too at the seminar of people's boardrooms. And it's a production. I mean, they have an audio video group that runs everything. They have a public comment person that's remote. They have this, they have that. They have the people in the room. It's an entire production like they're shooting a movie. And very honest, it's Joe in the back right there. If you can raise your hand, he's there. It's Justine that's on the remote line and myself, and we're all monitoring it. It's just 3 people. So it's actually kind of funny to hear how they handle things or the software they use. They use Granicus or they use some of the other ones out there like Diligent, things like that as board books. But they're $60,000 a year, to run that type of software. So, I told them, I said, it just depends on how to easily facilitate the board and how the board members want to get their information is what we do to try and facilitate that work and figure out the middle ground. Anyway, so like I said, our group was in the weeds.
Any further questions on any of those reports? And again, thank you for your patience to allow us to do that. And thank you to the district for sending us. The next item is number 13, communications. And because of our new format, it's probably a good opportunity to poll for any public comment once again.
Thank you. We have no public commenters in the room to add today, but I'd like to have Justine poll one last time, just in case someone joined and didn't raise their hand virtually. Justine, you want to do that on your end?
Good morning. Certainly. Thank you. I'd like to remind you, if you are on the computer, either click or tap reactions or the react button at the bottom of the screen and select raise hand if you'd like to speak. And if you're dialing in, you'll need to press *9 to raise your hand. If you'd like to speak this morning, please let me know. I am not seeing anyone this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. There is a revised version of provided at the beginning of the meeting of that blue sheet on the communications. There's 3 letters that were sent to the district. And that takes us then to the end of our agenda. And if there are no further items to be presented to this board, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please? We have a motion and a
second.
We have a motion and a second. And with that, thank you, colleagues. We'll adjourn. And please join with me as we adjourn this meeting with a moment of silence for Carol Parr Wessel, sister-in-law of Director Parr. So sorry to hear that. And Clint Riley, husband of former board member Janet Riley. Please. Thank you.